God bless you. It's great again to connect with you. Another fine day, glorious day. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day because we are alive. If we were in the other reality, then I'm not sure if we would really know what it is, how we could really express ourselves. We're not there yet as far as death is concerned. But we are going on into another part of the very first chapter of Ecclesiastes. In the previous session, we looked at verses 1 to 11, which more or less speaks of all things fail, and that is all things fail to satisfy the human heart, the great disappointments of life. That is the overall theme, if I can say, of chapter 1. And in this particular session, we're looking at verses 12 through to 15, and it focuses on human achievements fail. When we may think that we have achieved much and that we are successful with what we do, we've been really told, or we are told, that human achievements fail. Let's read those four verses. I'll read from the King James Version, and I'll look at another version that I use. As you know, I use the Jewish text as well as the Jerusalem Bible. We'll just look at one of those um, before we go into it. But I read, before we read and look into this particular, uh, we must be reminded, we've got to be reminded that Solomon was king over Israel. In verse 1 and in verse 12, he repeats himself. He's making a statement here. Yes, he's reminding us, you and I, and even let us say, if we can, if we've got a very vivid imagination where we can. I know some people have difficulties with that, but let us see if we can place ourselves in the very room, in the very audience that Solomon is speaking to. He is reminding us of who he is. He is king of Israel. And he speaks in the past tense. And he says, I was king. Again, let us be quite clear that he's not telling us that he's no more king. He's not telling us that he's not king anymore, because he would not be king if he's dead. He's still very much alive, still very much alive and well, as far as we're concerned, back in his day. But what he is saying is that he was king during the time in which he conducted his search, his research for the meaning of life, for life's meaning. And simply reaffirming two facts of utmost importance. One, as king, he had the resources to thoroughly explore and exhaust the subject in which he is studying or looking at. And two, as king, he possesses more of this world's power, pleasures, and position than any other individual. Yeah, so let us put, and I don't know if this is a good example. Let us say that it was Elon Musk, who is the world's richest man at this time. Right now, he's the world's richest man. He has more money, he has more power, probably, pleasures and possessions than any other individual. Let's just say that. So therefore, um, with all that he has, with all the power, with all the influence, with all the possessions that he has, he can do all that he has, all that he wants to do. Nothing, there is nothing on the face of this earth that can stop him from having or doing or being what he wants. But Solomon is yet saying, yet his heart is still not fully satisfied. He has the resources to thoroughly explore and exhaust his subject. That's one point. That's the first point. But his heart is not satisfied, and he has he has the world's power, pleasures, and possessions than any other individual in this world. But yet still, his heart is not satisfied. Human achievements fail, and sometimes who don't have anything, when we look on those who has what it is to takes to do, they still are not satisfied. That doesn't mean anything. Sometimes I wonder, since I've read this, I really thought of myself, why am I wanting or wishing to have the money or the resources of these individuals? Why? Well, obviously, I could do a lot more. But then I've got to understand that even if I had it to do more, I still wouldn't be satisfied. That's why so many people they die trying to achieve. They are very unhappy, and I think that I believe, not think. Let us say believe. Let me be a bit more sure. I believe that that is what Solomon is trying to communicate to the likes of you and me. I'm including myself, to us, to humanity, to the man and woman who believes God, that our sights, our yearning, our longing should be on Him, Christ, the Son of God. Solomon, let me just go a little further here. Solomon was the greatest man in all of Israel. Again, let us try and say that we're right there with Solomon. We're living in the time of Solomon. We're living in the very city, in the very country that Solomon is in. He is the king. He is the main man. So he is arguable, the most greatest man in the world. It's a pleasure for you and I to be living in the same country. Never mind to be living in the same city. We are just only a few roads, let's say, away from him. We're proud to be living in under his rule. He advances our nation beyond anything else, any before has ever achieved. Solomon has, is the mastermind behind the economy that propelled our country to amass unparalleled wealth. Solomon has built some of the greatest structures in the world. I'm talking as if we're there. I'm talking as if he is very much in our lifespan. Okay, so we are there. He is with us. We are with him. We are flourishing very much under his rule. We are flourishing very much under his influence. So all that we see, all that we have, is because of the the wisdom and the wealth of the king in whom or in which is ruling over us. And he is so great, so magnificent. His name is out there. All the other rulers around the world come to see the place where we live, because he has built it in such a way that it's just magnificent. There's no country like the country. that Solomon is ruling. He's king. He's prime minister. He's everybody rolled up into one because he's so wise. He's wise in finances. He's wise intellectually. He's wise um, in sciences. He's wise in health. Every area of our life is because of Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon. Okay, so all the visitors, all the other rulers from around the world has come to where you live because the king is wise. Solomon rules over a great political, militarily, and economic machine. None of this, however, brings forth lasting satisfaction and fulfillment to the heart. None of this still doesn't bring fulfillment to his heart. And to some extent, even though we may be happy with what we have, but we still want more because our heart is still not fulfilled in what we have attained and achieved. Let's read from verses 12 all the way to 15, 4 verses. I'll read from the King James Version first. It says, I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done on them. That sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. Let's read from the Jewish text. It's quite interesting when you read other translations, and because they express it sometimes in clearer terms. Let's read. I, Kohelet, which is the teacher, or you can say the preacher, have been king over Israel in Jerusalem. It's funny that in verse 1 of the same chapter, it says, the words of Kohelet, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. It's almost the same words, word for word, but it's saying the same thing. Verse 13, I wisely applied myself to seek out and investigate everything done under heaven. What a bothersome task. What a bothersome task God has given humanity to keep us occupied. I have seen all the activities that are done under the sun, and it's all pointless, feeding on wind, vanity again. Yes, wind, senselessness. Man. And verse 15, he says, what is crooked can't be straightened, and what is not there cannot be counted. Have we, not you, I don't want to really make it an individual thing, pointing fingers at you and making you look silly, because I'm silly also to some extent. Because have we really read this the way how we should? King James Version, doesn't matter what version, NIV, the New King James Version, and there's so many others, the Amplified and all of that. Let me read the Jerusalem translation. Verse 12. I, Kohelet, have reigned in Jerusalem over Israel. With the help of wisdom, I have been attained to study all that is done under heaven. Oh, what a weary task God has given mankind to labor at. I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and what vanity it all is, what chasing of the wind. Verse 50. what is twisted cannot be straightened. What is not there cannot be counted. Think about that and think about what happened, what we have come to see. I've been living on earth. My brief span of life has been 63 years. And what the scriptures is telling me here just blows my mind, You know, the brief span of my life is just vapor, is vanity. And it's telling me here that what is crooked can't be straightened. So it really doesn't matter how many men have come and gone, that have come and gone, but those who have come before me during my lifetime, and all the things that they have seen that is crooked, they can't straighten it. So it really doesn't matter how hard we may try to straighten whatever we have come to see and think crooked. There's nothing that we can do to ever straighten that. And what is not there, we can't count it. Now, I hope, oh my goodness, I tell you, it's just starting the book of Ecclesiastes is mind blowing in and of itself. And I don't know if you've read it already, if you've sat down to meditate, to think on it. I don't know if you've done anything like that before. And even though we have started it, but don't let it be the last. There is so much, I believe, that we can find out if we take the time. And we don't have the time. You don't have the time to hear me, drone on like this. But what you can do, certainly, and what I will be doing for myself in between the time that I do meet with you, I will be rereading, just like with all the other books, rereading, seeking out and searching out as Solomon himself did, even within the scripture, because I want to be on the right side of God. I want to lay up treasures in him, not on the earth, not in this area at all, not on this plane, because nothing here will ever bring satisfaction or fulfillment to my life, to my heart. What will? As far as we're told now, we haven't finished yet. We've got another 11 chapters to go. But up until now, we are told that everything that we do, the toils that we do in life, it's let's look at 12 and 13. Yeah. 12 and 13 says, I, the preacher, was king, and I gave my heart to seek and search out wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. That is what Solomon. So Solomon studied all human achievements. He attempted to do this. Was achievement the solution in an overwhelming sense of futility, emptiness, and desperation? Was achievement the solution? That's a question that we should constantly have in our mind when we attempt to do certain things. No matter how small or mediocre or how large it can be for us, because what we may do for ourselves may not affect the next door neighbor, it may not affect the greater city or the country we're in, because what greater men have to do may affect all of our lives in government or in business, and that is one level of achievement. But then what we do, are they the solution or solutions to an overwhelming sense of futility, emptiness? Solomon set out to study all human tasks and all human achievements. He used strong terms to indicate that he was not talking about a casual observation of subject or subject, but rather a careful investigation into these areas. Note the word that he chooses here, and there are three words that he chooses. One, devote myself. I gave my heart to seek, to search. Yes. The second one is study. And the third word that he uses is to explore. This is just between verses 12 and 13. I gave. He devoted himself. This was not a hobby. It wasn't a hobby he was doing. He wasn't doing a side interest. It wasn't something that he would pick up today, put it down at the end of the day, and 2 days down the road he'll pick it up again. But he devoted himself to study human achievement. It was the most important thing in his life at the time. So he studied, he dedicated himself to the study of human achievement. It was something that he desired to do, just like many of us today. There are some things that you're interested in that you devote yourself to, whether it be music, whether it be to being a business individual, a scientific individual, a medical individual. You devote yourself to it in such a way that when you are finished with it, you master it. People can come to you in that for that particular area, and you can inform them about it because you have devoted yourself to it. He, Solomon, devoted himself wholeheartedly. It was the top priority of his life. I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. The sore travail that God given to the sons of man. Study means to inquire diligently or to investigate thoroughly, and to explore, to search out means to conduct a comprehensive search. An explorer does conduct a comprehensive search of whatever he's looking for, and sometimes he finds out much more. Even there's something that are connected to it, even though he may not his main thought may not be about that particular area, but because his in his he searches intensely, anything else that is concerning it then comes into the frame. And a comprehensive search, you know, a diligent search has been done and is being done. And when you're finished, you are an expert. Solomon was an expert when he finished his study of the human achievement. This was the passionate pursuit of Solomon's life. Yes. With all of his heart, Solomon sought to find what gives permanent meaning and satisfaction to life. I don't think there was anybody. I mean, there are individuals in our world, if you look and you study, there are individuals around the world and in history who have passionately studied and given a comprehensive search to the meaning of life. But I don't think that there is anyone really that would ever come up to the standard of Solomon. He, he was wise. And when God is involved, I mean, nobody could touch him. We're giving it the expert view. And we're going to be reading it anyway. We're going to be seeing. And I really would like for individuals to really go into the book of Ecclesiastes. I'm just scraping the top, but there is so much more, I'm sure, that you'll be able to find where Solomon brings out uh, the wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge of the achievements of human, of mankind. And we're going to find that it's all vanity anyway. I mean, the scriptures already tell us, you know, um, and it's frightening, but it's quite eye opening when he says we did it in the last session, but we didn't really. I don't think we really delved as we should. But when you hear statements like "what has been is what will be," verse 9 of chapter 1, what has been done is what will be done, and there's nothing new under the sun. We always seem to quote that nothing new under the sun. But yet we don't read the verses above. And even in verse 10, it says, is there anything of which it is said, see, this is new? It existed already. You know, that's mind blowing in and of itself. But yet it is vanity. All of it is wind. We can say a lot about wind, can't we? All right, I won't go any further on that. But Solomon's life, Solomon was passionate about the pursuit of human achievement. Scripture says that Solomon had a measure of wisdom beyond that of any other individual, and we can read about that in First Kings chapter 3, from verses 5 through the 12, if you wish to read that. Solomon was uniquely qualified to search for the real meaning of life. When Solomon studied, this included uh, the following: all the works of God, all that is done on the heaven is all the works of God, all nature and the order of the world, all the nature of man, all human achievement and activities. So it he tries to do a comprehensive work, a comprehensive study, and really, once God gives um, man the gift that God gave to Solomon, you know, he's able to look at all the works of God, nature, and the order of the world. That's one, and all the nature and all the works of God, the human activities and achievements. Those are two areas I think that uh, one can really learn. But God has to be involved to really get in and to know uh, the, the value or the failure of all of these things. And again, vanities of vanities. That is what the teacher, the preacher, is telling us. When he found out all of that, he said it's vanity. It's just it's vanity. Solomon's conclusion again in 13. Let me read 13, 14, and 15. I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. The Jewish text, let me read from the Jewish text there. I wisely applied myself to seek out and investigate everything done on the heaven. What a bothersome task. This is Solomon's conclusion now. What a bothersome task God has given humanity to keep us occupied. Are you hearing what the scriptures are saying? Verse 14, I have seen all the activities that are done under the sun on earth. This is what Solomon is saying, not in heaven, not eternally. He's not looking up there. He's looking at what is done here. All the activities that he saw done on earth under the sun, and it's all pointless, feeding on wind. I wonder if you really hear what I'm saying here. Verse 15, what is crooked can't be straightened, what is not there can't be counted. So Solomon compiled all of this data and arrived at three conclusions. One, people's drive to achieve is a gift from God, but it is also a heavy, grievous burden. This is Solomon now. Probably there'll be a lot of people out there to refute everything that Solomon is saying. the same time, it is true. It is heavy and it is grievous. It's a burden. Yes. Solomon was apparently making a reference to God's judgment upon Adam and mankind after Adam's sin in the garden. Solomon felt that labor was a punishment inflicted upon the human race by God. But we must always remember that God uses every human activity for good. So it's important to understand here, yeah, that that we have to understand and take it on board here that even though Solomon, yes, one may have been referring to the judgment that God placed upon Adam. Because what did he say? By the sweat of your brow, yes, you're going to labor, you're going to work, you're going to eat. And so um, we have to work, we have to labor in order to weak, and that is a punishment. That is something that is being inflicted upon man, upon us. That's number one. Number three, Solomon concluded that the people's achievements are meaningless and do not fully satisfy, no permanently and eternally. Meaningless and do not fully satisfy, not permanently and not eternally. What we achieve in this world is just for us of the here and now. It just satisfies us for the here and now. But then later on, we want to do something else so that to have that feel good factor. And it doesn't help us permanently, and it really does. It won't help us eternally. In another phrase, at another time, he uses the phrase vexation of spirit, chasing the wind. Literally, this means feeding upon air. The term pictures people trying to catch something that cannot be caught, that has no substance and cannot be held in their hand. In their efforts to gain total satisfaction and fulfillment from achievement, people are sorely deceived, pursuing something that cannot be attained. And that's what we all seem to be doing. We're chasing after something, my friend. We're trying to catch something that we'll never catch. We may attain to it to some degree, but after that, it is just a fixation of spirit. It's just wind. The third one here is that Solomon also concluded that people's efforts can neither correct all that is twisted on earth, nor supply all that is lacking. No matter how long a person works or how hard a person tries, it is never enough. Many things cannot be changed. Others are beyond human control. No individual can fix anything that is broken, nor right every wrong. No one can meet every need. Solomon even said that the needs of this earth and of the people living on it were beyond number. They could not even be counted. It is easy to understand why King Solomon conclusion or concluded his position is considered. He was responsible for the entire nation of Israel. The burden of leadership that he had and possessed, especially at the highest level of an organization, is great. Whether a person is the owner or chief executive of a business, or even the pastor of a local church, or the head of government, the pressures of the top position can be overwhelming. Solomon realized that no matter how hard he worked, he could never solve all the problems. And We see it in successive governments in our country here, or in the country where we reside, every 4 years. In some countries, it's every 5 years, every 10 years. There are various uh, amount of time that government can sit, or government can have control over the economy of certain things. And every time it would seem they fail, they're grabbing at wind. They can't keep up with what needs to be done, because things are never solved. When we think that it does solve the problem, something else happens, and the problem that was then we thought was solved emerges as another problem, or the same problem, not being able to control. Vanities, all of what we're doing, all of what sometimes we're involved in is vanity. I think and I believe, if I can say, that the only answer, the only solution that we have, the only solution that you have, the only solution for this world is that uh, we look to the Lord Jesus Christ. When we put our trust in Him, when we put our trust in Him as the deliverer, as our salvation, as our redeemer, as our God, He can flood our souls with God's eternal peace, with God's eternal joy, and in His fullness. It is only when we are totally immersed in God. And that's what God wants humanity to do. He wants us to turn to Him, because when we try to solve the everyday, the every week, the every month, the every year problem that come to humanity all the time, we can't solve it. We don't have the solution as such to fix the problem. God has the solution. God is the solution. He's the only one that can help us. He's the only one that can deliver us anyway from this body of sin and death. And until mankind, until humanity realizes that, and let us just say even further that he has a people on the earth. He has you. He has me. He has us. You know, we've got the solution in us. We've got the solution again, probably in our hands. We've got the solution in our mind as far as intellect is concerned, to tell them that the God of heaven, the God of Daniel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob, His Son Jesus Christ. Now it's not two gods and three gods. No, we serve the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God, He is the solution for this world today. And we've got a myriad of problems. Every country in this world has a situation. And there are situations right now: war in the Middle East, war in Ukraine, war in Africa. There is conflict and pending conflict happening over there, between Taiwan and China. And there's much more conflict around the world. Even down there in South America, there's problems. Even in the Caribbean and all over, there are problems. There are situations. But mankind cannot solve these things. They can never, we can never. In our church, in your church, in your family, you may have a very successful business. You may know what it is to have of the weight or responsibility of leadership is concerned. You may know what it is. You've got problems. You will always have a problem. It may not be financial. It may be your workers. It may be the supply chain. It may be whatever it is. And when human beings are involved in whatever it is that they're doing, there will always be a problem. Human beings carry problems. Carry problems. But God, Solomon is telling us that God is the solution to all of our problems. May God bless you. May God keep you. And we'll pray at the end of this chapter. chapter 1. But read from verses 1 through to verse 50, where we are. You can go to all the way down to 18 if you wish. Just meditate. Just think on what you are reading. Get other versions if you wish, other versions of the Bible. I've just got the King James version of the Jewish text and the Jerusalem Bible. I don't know whatever else you may have. But look at those versions. See if they're all communicating the same thing but saying it differently. And just meditate on what Solomon here is saying about life, the disappointment of life. But sometimes, when we believe that we should be successful, the scriptures are already telling us that we're going to be disappointed. We're going to be disappointed because life is a disappointment. And there's only one reason because of that, anyway, because of sin. Adam and Eve, if man did not sin at the very beginning of time, we wouldn't be in this problem at all. But because of sin, then we must expect disappointment while we live.